Hello, and welcome back to Arresting Necrophiliacs is Morally Excellent. I'm Grunchler, and with me as always is...
a very confused individual.
Quagsire, then.
After that acronym, after that stunning acronym, I'm just stunned.
It took me all of a minute to think of.
It was worth it.
I know. Brain power well spent. Why focus on researching cancer when you can think of amazing acronyms for a podcast?
For one thing, you're not a scientist. But you know what?
Because we're scientists.
Speaking of brain power well spent, let's talk about some anime.
Okay.
Actually, there have been a ton of announcements for like new anime that are coming out over the past week or 2 weeks. There's a new Ikuhara series, the guy who did Revolutionary Girl Utena. New Watanabe series, we already talked about that. I don't know, like many episodes ago on this show. It now has a title and it's coming out next year. And then there are movies for like Psycho Pass, Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress, Hibiki Euphonium. But like, sequels, just more and more sequels. But we're not here to talk about any of that. I mean, if you didn't know any of that, now you know, but it's winter 2018.
If you don't know, now you know, weeaboo.
It's winter 2018 right now, even though it's almost over. Thank you, based anime god. Just a couple more weeks.
4 weeks.
Something like that.
Yeah.
More like 3, right? It doesn't matter.
This is 9, and anyways,
what show?
Let's talk about Violet Evergarden.
Okay, let's do it. I didn't like this episode.
I thought this should have been the last episode of the show.
Didn't it feel kind of like a finale?
Absolutely.
Because she comes to terms with the fact that she had, participated in the war and
the Major's death, and
yeah,
felt like her journey was complete.
Yeah, she goes through a big crisis, and then she like a crisis that involves her trying to choke herself with her own full what's it called in Full Metal Alchemist?
Automail.
Yeah, she tries to choke herself to death with her automail hands, but she comes out the other side, and she's ready to write some more letters. Yeah, it did feel like the end, but it wasn't.
But it's not. I don't know what they're gonna do with the other 5 episodes.
It's a great question. Probably 5 more standalone, little self-contained stories where she has to write a letter for somebody.
Because now Violet's story is complete.
It kind of feels that way. You know what? I'm tempted. I mean, I'm tempted to view that as a good thing, or I want to. Let's say, the optimist in me wants to view it as a good thing because now we have a shot at seeing some more cool stories, like the one where she helps the playwright, and the one where. That's the only one that's coming to mind.
The one with the brother and the sister with the lighthouse.
Yeah, we actually saw the brother again in this episode. We saw both of them.
Yeah.
In fact, we saw a lot of characters from her past,
which is why it
adventures.
Also felt like such a finale episode. The characters from previous episodes recurring for brief moments.
A little montage of all the people whose lives she's touched.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's there now that Violet is probably going to be less of a focus. Her journey into. Does she know what love means yet? Wasn't that the big question for her?
Yeah, I think she does.
She has learned what love means. What does she think it means? Did we get anything specific about that in this episode?
I mean, it's been explained to her.
Has it? Who's explained that to her, like, in detail? You know what?
The prince and the princess, or the princess. When she asks the princess, "Do you love him?" I feel like she's got to know what it means at this point.
Does she ask him that?
Her,
yeah. Does Violet ask her that?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
It's good that we're so concrete on all these details.
Yeah.
It's not like anybody relies on us for information.
That one guy does. Someone does.
This is his entire exposure to anime. Or it. You never know.
Or Zay.
Or Qua.
Right.
Whatever all the acronyms are now.
We're hip. They're not acronyms, they're pronouns, and we're hip with all of them.
All 63.
Please watch this podcast. I don't know if she. You know, it honestly, it's been like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days since I saw the episode, and in that time, a lot of it escaped my memory because I think the main reason why it wasn't so memorable for me was because it picked up where the last one left off, and as we discussed last week, the last episode really didn't give us any new information. It was all about, showing Violet's time in the war, and
Yeah.
we already knew we had already learned a bunch of that stuff. So when it picked up with Gilbert getting shot in the eye or the head, like again, and then them like miserably shuffling their way through that little stairwell.
And Violet has no arms at this point.
One of them gets shot off, right? But you see the other one like slowly fall off.
Yeah.
That was gross.
It was also hilarious because of how bad the sound design was for when she gets shot through the arm and when it falls off. It sounds nothing like what it would actually sound like. It's obvious to me that whoever does sound design for Kyoto Animation isn't used to blood and gore.
Probably not. I can't think of another series that they've done where there's been a wartime scene like this. Although there was a really cool action scene in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, which was the show they did before this, and it was amazing. I don't remember how it sounded, but it probably sounded pretty good. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I also learned something interesting about Kyoto Animation and why their stuff usually looks really good.
Why?
They salary their animators. They're not paid per frame, so they can take more time on each.
Aha. Wouldn't they want to take more time on each if they were hourly?
No, not hourly, paid per frame.
Oh yeah.
Freelance artists are paid by the frame, so the more frames they get done,
I think
the more they get
I think
paid.
that's a deal that like beginning animators have.
Apparently, according to what I read, now granted this is Wikipedia, so it's full of lies. According to the Wikipedia page, that's not normal.
What?
Most animators
KyoAni's
are
deal?
freelance.
Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of virtual ink spilled about how they have the greatest.
I saw a picture of their office building. It looks like an apartment complex.
So do literally all animation studios.
You'd think that these people are these companies make these fantastical productions that transport you into other worlds, and they're stuck in buildings that you wouldn't even want to live in.
That's what people don't understand about anime, is that even in Japan, it's niche.
I know, but I'm just saying they make these fantastic works that blow your mind on the level of.
I wouldn't say that any of the shows we're watching right now are fantastic.
No. I don't know. I think you could make an argument that Violet Evergarden is probably the best of the ones we're watching right now.
I don't.
Objectively.
No. See, there's no such thing as objective, comparison.
I think if you took a large group of people and you polled all of them, Franxx would come out on top. God.
No, I don't think that's actually true. I think Franxx is the biggest with nerds, anime fans, bedroom occupying, headphone wearing,
Neats.
isolated, people. I think because you can comfortably watch that show in your own home, in your own room, shut everybody else out, and not be embarrassed. Violet Evergarden maybe would appeal to more people. It's on Netflix. Netflix.
Well, it will be on Netflix.
It's already on Netflix pretty much everywhere except for America.
Yeah, so it needs to wait for the whole thing to air and then have the English dub done.
We're not really talking about the show, are we?
I mean, we're talking about things that are related to the show. I guess that kind of counts, doesn't it?
Here's something that's actually about the episode.
Okay.
You know how at the Violet is she has to be taken back from, where is she? She's at the
battle.
No, I'm talking about after that when it goes back to real life. Where is she? Is she at his grave or is she in his mansion?
No, when she's taken back, she's at the site of the battle.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And she's moving bricks.
Right, that's right. She's like, is he going to be under here? No.
Because they found you, there's no way they would have found the other guy.
That occurred to me because I think we've talked about that in the past. Like, maybe they didn't find his body, so maybe he's alive. But It's true. We actually saw exactly how they died. We saw that the rubble just came crashing down. The dudes who they were fighting against blew up their own castle so that they couldn't occupy it.
Right.
So we saw them in their last moments together. Just a whole bunch of, stones came raining down on them.
Tumbling down. Major. Do 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 do.
So all right. If they found her, they would have found him. Yes. So yeah, red-haired guy, Claudia. Why is he named Claudia? I don't.
Claudia.
Some Japanese person who didn't have a grasp of like English names must have decided to call him that. Why would? Never mind. It doesn't matter.
Claude.
Yeah, I guess. He comes and takes her back, and then she's moping. She's locked herself in a room. Later on, like near the end of the episode, I'm finally getting to the point that was taking me 100 years to get to. She asks him like, "Do I have the right to be a doll after all the terrible stuff I've done?" Echoing that one dude's criticism of her that was never really followed up on, except in her own head. Like, you write letters, even though you, with those very same hands, you took so many lives. She asks him, "Do I have the right to be a doll?" And I mean, the focus of the last couple episodes has been on her loss of the major, all of episode 8 and a good deal of episode 9, which is this one. They were about her getting over that loss.
Right.
There wasn't so much emphasis placed on the fact that she had done some terrible things in the war. That was certainly present, but when she asks, like, do I have the right to, have this job and to try to write letters that'll bring people happiness? That's really something that I should be doing? I mean, her arc has been coming to terms with the major's death. That was the first and foremost, at least how I see it. So
and then it later evolved into shit. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Okay, are we about done? We didn't really give this show a thorough go over. I'm not into it anymore though.
I mean, the episode felt like emotional for the last couple minutes of it, and
probably because you just saw all the people for whom she had written letters and plays and transcriptions of astrological texts.
And
they all
you
popped
saw
up.
the poster for the play,
Yes,
as well.
Yeah, not just that, but even before she walks by that poster and sees the playwright in the corner, she also sees a picture on a newspaper of the princess.
Mm-hmm.
Like the princess looking at some little girl. So you get the sense during that scene that everybody's okay. Everybody thanks to Violet.
Thanks to Violet, the world is all right.
Yeah, thanks to her help, she cured the ailing hearts of many with the power of autism. That's just
by the power of autism.
Yeah, I have some hope that the next 5 they'll just do a bunch of little bite-sized stories with new characters who they do a good job with in the span of like 20-25 minutes. That's what I'm hoping for. Are you hoping for anything like more complex than that?
I don't know. Maybe hopefully resolve the
You're trying to think of a character's name right now, right?
Yeah, Red Shirt.
Red Shirt. Who's Red Shirt?
Catalia.
Oh yeah. Just let us know something about her other than she has big boobs.
Other than I have problems with men and people like me.
I have problems with men. She has problems with men? She's just arguing with Claudia and we learned
Delivery Boy.
Yeah, we learned his name. I mean, I'm sure his name was probably given in the first or second episode.
I'm sure it was.
But I forgot it. But it's what is it? I wrote it down.
Something stupid, I'm sure.
Benedicto. And he wears high heels. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
He does. Remember, he sprains his ankle or something. He hurts his foot or his leg, and the older delivery man who Violet cooperates with for a little bit. He maybe has a beard or something. I can't picture his face.
I can picture.
He
it.
says it's because of those damn shoes he's always wearing, and he like holds up a pair of high heels, or boots with heels on them, or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about another.
Let's talk about something more engaging.
Like
what?
I don't know. I was trying to get you to say the name of an anime.
Oh, I thought you thought something was more engaging, and you were going to.
No, I don't care about any of these series.
Let's talk about Mob Psycho then, because at least we care about that.
Yeah, it's a good show, and you should watch it if you haven't.
It is weird, too.
What was weird in these episodes?
Oh, come
5
on!
and
Don't
6?
think the whole show isn't weird.
Why is it weird? Just because
The characters are weird. The atmosphere is weird.
the character designs are not, typical sparkly-eyed KyoAni cute girl with like a random guy in the back. They're not, quote unquote normal.
I don't know. The whole show is just like kind of weird. One of the main characters is a gas cloud with dimples.
He's not a gas cloud. He's an evil spirit.
Yeah, I know, but he's referred to as a gas cloud several times.
Yeah.
By blonde hair and Reigen.
Why? No, Reigen can't see him.
Oh, right.
He wouldn't call him anything.
But blonde hair does
I think his
refer
name's
to him as a
Reagan.
gas cloud. Anyways, episode 5.
It was the big fight with Teru.
Yeah. That's his name?
Yeah.
Teru? Taru?
Yeah. Teru is a shortening of his name, which I think is Teruki, or I think it's Teruki.
Teriyaki?
Yeah. Sure. Anyway, Teriyaki is like the stealth leader, the shadow leader of his
Of the soy sauce?
of Black Vinegar Middle School.
Middle school.
Yeah. So he was introduced in episode 4, and in this one, it's the big fight. Pretty much all of episode 5 is dedicated to their
It's
struggle.
not so much a fight as it is Teru just beating up on Mob until the very end.
When Mob falls unconscious and sends him into the stratosphere.
And what I believe to be a latent spirit inside him sends him into the stratosphere. I don't think it's actually Mob with that much power.
No. Yeah,
I think
why
we've got like a nine-tailed fox kind of thing going on.
Oh, Nine-Tailed Fox. Wow. Naruto and Mob Psycho mentioned in the same breath. That's interesting.
A powerful being sealed inside or used as a container by something else.
Yeah.
I mean, Naruto probably wasn't the first to do that. I doubt it was, but that's the most.
So if you think that there's an evil spirit inside Mob or some other presence, how did it get there? You can't explain that.
I don't have to explain it. It may be explained later in the show.
Maybe. But what's your theory? If you have one.
If I had to formulate one in 10 seconds, which I will now do.
You have 5. You have 1. Your time's up.
It's possible that his parents thought he was possessed when he was born, and they had an exorcism performed on him, and possibly it backfired, and then a more powerful spirit was drawn into him.
Ooh, interesting. But what if Reagan was the man who performed that exorcism? Oh shit!
Then why?
Layers.
Then why doesn't Mob hate salt?
Does he not hate salt?
I don't know. Probably
How does
not.
he feel about salt?
That's a good question. Hey, Mob. Oh?
What are you gonna try to do? All right. Yeah, it's a big fight in episode 5 with Teru, and Mob
Is a
sends him up
pacifist.
into the sky. Yeah, he refuses to fight because we learn that he injured some bullies.
Killed them.
I don't think he killed them.
I think we can infer that they died.
No way.
Yeah.
This show's not that
There's
dark.
blood coming out of them.
Yeah, but there's no reason to believe that they're dead. There is blood coming out of them, but it's not like oozing out of every orifice.
There's blood coming out of them, and they're all laying on the ground. I infer that as dead.
Well, but he also hurt his brother. His brother says to him, "Oh no, you didn't hurt me," but he's lying because he was injured. So the other kids were probably injured in the same way.
Just more because they didn't get up.
I guess. But I don't think they're dead, man.
All right, fine.
Do you think a show like this would make its hero, Mob, out to...
I don't know. I haven't seen enough of it.
Yeah. Well, you're halfway through.
And I've seen some of one's other works, or one of them.
You've seen one of one's other series.
Yeah, which also starts with one.
Oh, yeah, it does.
One Punch.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
Lots of people die in that show.
I guess that's true.
Although, to be fair, it doesn't have a very dark tone. It's very silly.
Yeah, well, this one can get silly. But it is... Mob does take it seriously. Even, I mean, the show is a little silly, but Mob is not aware of that. That's for us to get from the way the show looks and how it feels as the audience.
From Reagan and the way that some of the club members act and all that stuff.
And all the fake psychics from episode 6 that we just met.
Yeah,
but
that is very silly.
Mob does take his he lives seriously.
Yeah, he's not using all of his considerable power to try to squash a fly or buying food while the world is exploding around him.
Right.
Yeah.
These are One Punch
These are
Man
all One Punch
references.
Man things.
Mob is afraid of his power and he doesn't want it.
Right.
And
well, I don't think it's that he doesn't want it. I think that he doesn't want to use it.
Well, he even says, I think in episode 6, like that one opens with a fake exorcism. Reagan is pretending that he's what's his face's father.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a seance.
Oh yes, seance. I'm sorry. And Mob says at one point, like, I don't want these powers. But Reagan says to him, well, they're at least useful to me.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I remember that now.
So I think Mob views his psychic abilities as like a burden, something that he just wants to get rid of because he doesn't want to fight, and people pick fights with him because, well, one person at this point has picked a fight with him because of his powers. That person being Teru, who just gets completely like blown.
BTFO'd.
Yeah, he gets. Well, he's bald now. He's got that gigantic bald spot on
and
top.
it's blue.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like gray.
It was blue.
Why would it be blue? That makes no sense.
It was blue on my screen. I don't know. I have a super old monitor.
That might be it. Yeah, he gets the whole top of his head shaved off, so he looks like Einstein now, a blonde Einstein.
I feel mess with time.
The visual of that is so funny. The way that Teru is like completely humiliated is just awful. But of course, Mob didn't mean to do it. He was
the worst.
The absolute worst.
And the thing is Mob doesn't hit 100 when he does that. He's at like 90.
Well, no, remember it's like question mark %. That's when he's like tearing apart the whole school and throwing Teru up into
into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And then Mob hits 100 and puts everything back together.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Because that was controlled by sadness rather than anger.
Yeah, there was that really interesting shot of him with his eyes after he comes down from his other persona. You see that scene of him like slumped over with his eyes glowing and he's crying. And then you get the reverse shot where you see his back and you see the school like in a black and white moment. It's all coming back together. That was 100%. So I guess is the show telling us that when he hits 100%, emotional power, he is still in control of that? The last time we saw him like that was when he beat Dimple. Yeah. So was he totally, acting under his own will back then? I seem to remember that he wasn't really.
I think it's purposely misdirecting us.
What is?
The show.
In which moment?
The question mark is the question mark is for us to believe that it's like beyond 100% or something.
No, the question mark thing is to indicate that it's someone else other than Mob. Teru even says that's like that's some nameless being with power that I can't even conceive of. So the thing that I don't understand is the discrepancy. What seems like a discrepancy between him going out of control when he fought Dimple at 100% and him putting the school back together.
I don't think it's
here.
out of. Well, they're all supposed to be controlled by different emotions. So anger, when we're angry, we're very, or when most people are angry, they don't always control themselves entirely.
Yeah.
Like they'll do way stupid things. But when he's controlled by sadness, he may have more control over what he does.
Maybe his emotional state has to do with
Like what happens during his explosion.
Yeah. His explosion.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's true.
Progress towards Mob's explosion.
Yeah. That's an interesting theory. This show definitely focuses a lot on Mob's mental state, his emotional state. So maybe he could like reach 100% when he's happy, and I don't know, just produce thousands of winning lottery tickets, all for the same lottery, and make a bunch of people millionaires,
Gajillionaires.
I don't know. I don't know what would happen.
I don't know. Being a millionaire in yen isn't much.
It's $10,000. I'd take $10,000 right now.
Well, I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find, but it's not like our lotteries that can go into the literal billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Which is 10 billion yen.
No, that's 100 billion.
Oh, right. Okay, 100 billion. My God. Remember, 30,000 yen is only $300, right? Apparently.
Okay, so episode 6 we haven't talked very much about. Let's touch on that one. That's more of a Ritsu focused episode.
Yeah, it focuses on his brother almost entirely.
Yeah.
Although we do see Mob go out with the head of the telepathy club to look for other ESPers.
Yeah. I think you just call them espers.
I don't know. When I think of Esper, I think of a Pokemon.
Yeah. The Pokemon Esper, which is a psychic type.
Right. But ESPer.
You say that Esper.
I don't know, but when
it's the same as
people,
saying
when
neat.
people say they have ESP, they say they have ESP, not ESP.
Yeah, but that sounds ridiculous. Anyway,
I have ESP.
It's like I have
It's like a rare disease.
It's like I have ESPN or something.
What was that from?
It's Mean Girls. Come on, man.
Okay.
Catch up.
Oh, I remember.
It's like a 2004 film.
I've seen it a couple times.
The girl's name is Tomei, and yes, it's true that he does go out with her in order to try to find espers because she gets so hyped up at the mention
she wants to find alien life and communicate with them.
Yeah, but she's part of the telepathy club, so the concept of other people with psychic powers is interesting to her. And people are hearing about Mob's fight with Teru. Not everyone has all the details, but the reporter girl, she's like, "Oh, you two must have gotten in a fight, huh?" And the delinquents at Salt Middle School are interested in so who's our shadow leader?
And they want to find whoever was that defeated Teru.
Yeah, it was Mob, but nobody would suspect. And
the Body Improvement Club won't give him up.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's kind of cool that you just see Mob briefly. Like he's the main character, but the show shifts focus. It only shows Mob on a date with this girl.
It also shows
2 times.
Does some foreshadowing to possibly the next or later episodes.
Oh, you mean with Ritsu?
No, with Mob.
What about him?
When they're looking for other people with ESP, and Mob finds someone, an adult, and there's like a really evil aura coming from him.
Oh yeah.
A dude in a black hoodie with this purple wavy stuff around him.
Yeah, definitely foreshadowing. So who do you think that was? You think it's somebody we've already met? He said it was an adult.
Maybe it's someone we've met. I honestly can't tell you.
What if it's Reagan?
No, because he would have sensed it by now.
I mean, maybe. But what if... Yeah, I mean, theoretically, if you're a psychic, maybe you can conceal your powers.
If a spirit and Mob both don't get anything from him, then there's no way.
But wouldn't it be the ultimate twist if this person from whom no psychic energy can be sensed and who proclaims himself as the biggest psychic ever, like the most powerful guy ever, what if he actually is super powerful?
To me, that wouldn't be a twist. That would be really lazy writing. That'd be a Shyamalan twist post 2006.
Well, I guess. I don't know if I would say it was lazy. It might be inconsistent though, because we've seen Reagan himself really sweat in situations where people put him on the spot.
because he has no psychic abilities.
Unless he does.
Oh, that's okay. I'll speak to my dad in English. Konnichiwa!
He just does a Japanese accent in English. Wakarimasen. The seance scene was pretty funny.
Yeah. What's the password? Get a job.
Yeah, the 13. I wonder how accurate a translation that was, because it was a 13 letter combination.
It was get a job, you jag, or something like that.
Yeah. That was another example of, I think, the series running with one's kind of gross view of human nature. Because the guy's acting, he's acting like so sweet and innocent, and just, I really want to, talk to my dad, but the whole time he was just angling.
He wants his fortune.
He just wants to get rich. Yeah, he just wants to live comfortably. The most interesting line to me in episode 6, which is all about Ritsu, he's having a bunch of conversations with the student council president, who gets him to frame the head delinquent. He talks to all the psychics and stuff. The most interesting conversation, though, that I think he has in this episode is the one with the vice president of the student council when he's out on the street, and Ritsu says, I'm just an ordinary middle schooler, and the guy responds by saying, there is no ordinary middle schooler like on this planet. So, and that's, I think, reflected in the way that the show is interested in the small details of everyone's lives, like the slackers, the meathead jocks, the student council. It keeps bringing all of them into the fold in every single episode.
What if the evil person Mob felt was the principal of their school?
Maybe, yeah. If he hadn't said that it was like an adult presence, and who knows whether that actually means adult as in 18 plus or 16 plus, whatever it is in Japan,
or maybe it's the head of their student council organization.
Yeah, I would think it was that guy.
That was my other thought. Yeah, because that
Mob
dude
hadn't
is
said, yeah, he's creepy.
Creepy.
If Mob hadn't said
that was an adult,
yeah,
they made sure to put that in specifically.
And the big reveal in this episode at the end, Ritsu does in fact have psychic powers.
He's just not able to access them at will, it seems.
He does bend that spoon, although he doesn't know it. He sees Dimple. The episode ends with Dimple like slowly turning around and giving him that,
because he's back. Face. He got exercised in the episode 5 by
Teru, who just like slaps him away. Yeah. Interesting. The show is kind of killing two, spirits with one stone there, by not only revealing that Ritsu has psychic powers with the Dimple reveal, because Ritsu can see him, but also showing us, hey, he's not dead.
Just taking a little break there.
Maybe Dimple is like actually super powerful. Because if Mob couldn't get rid of him completely, well, Mob doesn't try, but if Teru couldn't, completely eliminate him, then he's probably pretty strong. Anyway, enough about that. It's I'm still really enjoying it. My second watch, but I'm liking it.
It's interesting. I was kind of tired when I watched both these episodes, and when I'm tired, I'm just like, ugh, everything needs to be over. But I
know that feel.
I did like it. It's definitely a cool show.
It introduced all the fake psychics and stuff.
Well, they're not fake. They're just...
Oh, yeah, they are. I guess that's true. They're all real.
Minimal.
Yeah, they're not very powerful. But so it introduced all those characters. It gave us the hoodie guy with the purple energy who Mob senses. So, a bunch of different ways that the story could go.
Yeah, it also gives us the guy who wants to become like a psychic god.
Who, Dimple?
No. The
guy who's running the lab.
Yeah. Yeah.
Him too. I was kind of lumping him in with all the...
He wants to be a biotic god.
Yeah. All right, man. What's next? How about Kokkoku?
Sure. Let's do Disappointu.
Yeah. It is pretty disappointing. I hyped it up so much.
It's so different. It's so unique. It's not doing anything. Oh, great. Now what?
It is unique. There's not a lot of other. I mean, what?
The concept is unique. Yeah.
But it's pretty boring. And I think one of the main reasons that it's starting to feel so plain, despite all the interesting elements that it has that a lot of other shows don't, is that it's kind of getting into like action mode. Sagawa has turned into the Hulk, and he's, despite his stated goal being, oh yeah, I just want to live for like hundreds, if not thousands of years and just observe humanity.
But you're a fly, so I have to destroy you.
Yeah, he says, I don't know if it was in this one or the last one, this will be a good chance to test out my powers, in reference to like a potential conflict with punching and fighting. I thought that wasn't what he was about, but so I think the show is kind of betraying the idea that he just wants to watch the world progress. Seems more like he just wants to watch the world burn at his own giant Hulk fists.
Yeah.
It is kind of boring. It is kind of disappointing.
And they tried to explain his reason for fighting, even though all he wants to do is just watch the rest of the world. It's like if there was a mosquito next to you and the mosquito said, "Oh, hey, I'm not going to suck your blood anymore," you'd still kill the mosquito, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that definitely seemed to be from the big book of anime excuses.
Because I can, I will.
Yeah, I don't. I'm just not like, if the show wants to sell me on the idea that he is so far beyond everyone else, and that it is just like him, killing a mosquito or something.
Then he should have done it the first time they met. Just killed all of them.
No.
Show's over.
Not really, but then it shouldn't have these scenes where, like the scene where Majima reveals that she has a power, where she's like slowly descending on that ladder that's sticking off the edge of the building, and he's having some difficulty like beating her. If the show wanted to sell me on the idea that he's just like killing mosquitoes, he should really just like, kill somebody. Instead of these weird scenes where he's throwing knives through people's bodies and stuff, and kind of being edgy and typical anime villain guy. We should really see him like completely destroying somebody, like smacking them
through buildings.
Well, just like, no, that would be another example of him throwing the knife. That would be like Man of Steel type of ultimate carnage. I'm talking about him just like backhanding somebody and them like disintegrating, just making him out to be actually really godlike and threatening, but not in a gory or, typical anime fight way. I don't know if that's not even what I want from the show. That's just one route that it could go.
Nani?
Yeah. So what's the big reveal here? That Makoto has a power. He can control specters. Remember that blonde-haired guy we were talking about? The random gangster who shows up and finds the stone?
He doesn't control specters. He controls heralds.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I misspoke. He controls heralds.
They're going to defeat Sagawa by controlling him, and
I had the same thought. Makoto is like the chosen one, I guess. Still waiting for the reveal that his power is actually because of his bloodline. With he has half Yukawa blood and half whoever his mom's lover was.
Right. Sagawa's going to see him and be like, "I know who his dad is now."
Maybe it was Sagawa.
Maybe.
That's why I
mean, it's possible.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably him. But
ultimate power. We have the dad being like, "Hey, I'm the one who controls all of this." Why is he in this show?
I don't know, man. Wasn't there already an episode where his lust for power kind of impacted things? Oh yeah, it was the one where they needed the killing intent to summon the herald.
So we just need to kill this guy. Oh no.
Ever since then, his character's been really neutered. I mean, he was always kind of impotent, portrayed as being a fool. But now he's like a useless fool. He's not even playing the role of jester. He's just there and just taking up time the show could probably do something better with. But at this point, it's, lost me pretty much.
Also, the stone was destroyed.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's actually an even bigger deal than Makoto displaying his power, because now, in theory, Juri, although she can send everyone else back to the present, she can't get out of stasis herself.
Right.
Oh, maybe there's going to be some crazy ending where Juri and Sagawa are stuck in stasis for hundreds of years. Might be kind of interesting.
But supposedly Sagawa doesn't need the stone in order to...
in order to get out?
No, in order to progress through time.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Because
yeah, his power is
it.
to just watch over time, not to be stuck in this one frame of stasis.
Right. You can use in the same way that the spirits can be used to essentially accelerate you so quickly that you appear to be in a single frame of time. They can slow you down so much to the point that time passes around you and you're not affected. Essentially, it can make you stalled in the real world.
Yep.
Blink and you miss 100 years. Whoops.
I wouldn't mind that power. You know what power I would really want? The power to blink and miss an entire season of anime and just get to the next one. Because I would use that power.
What if you couldn't control
right
the
now.
power? What if one in every 500,000 blinks it happened without you wanting it to? It just went off.
What? One in every 500,000 blinks?
I don't know how often you blink. I don't have that number in front of me.
I don't either.
But what if there was like a 1 in 500,000 chance every time you blink?
I take those odds. Those are really low odds.
You take those odds, so you're watching a great season and you blink and the whole thing's gone and you're on the next one.
I mean, I like the feel of a fresh anime season. You know, so many series brimming with potential. You find out halfway through a lot of them that they suck, but
how's
for those first,
Koi wa Agami?
it's really good.
Still good.
Amayagari. Yeah, it's good. Still good. Still really good.
Still really good.
Not like this show. But how about Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens? Do you think that maybe that'll hold up to Koi wa Amayagari? Let's talk about it and find out. It doesn't. You like this one, right?
Yeah, I like this episode. We got just we got Lynn's background.
Yeah,
this episode.
it was totally dedicated to Lynn's backstory.
Yeah.
And I appreciated it. I don't think that I liked it, but I appreciated knowing more about him because we knew that he had come from China and that he had that little sister and that his family was poor because very early on he made a point of saying, I don't waste food.
Right.
You remember that? Like
which is
episodes.
something you have to be raised with if you don't like waste food.
Yeah.
It's not something you acquire as you get older.
Yeah, he was poor. His family was dirt poor, and he sold himself into slavery.
Yep. In order to help pay for his mother who was sick.
Yeah. So most of the time is spent, not between him and his sister because we already, I guess we haven't seen too much of their relationship. We've seen a little though in flashbacks, and we already knew that he really cared for her because of the way he reacted.
There were
when she was
flashbacks
killed.
in this flashback.
There sure were.
Which I guess is fine.
Yeah, why not? But most of the time is spent at that assassin training camp.
Right. Murder Inc. hiring people at a young age.
Well, no, I don't think that it was like a farm team for Murder Inc. I think this was just a facility from which assassins might be hired by like a bunch of companies.
Or by the government.
Yeah, maybe. Probably because the mayor hired a bunch of people to protect his son. I got the feeling that they were ex-military. The mayor's dogs from those early episodes.
Right.
But they could have been assassins.
I think they were assassins.
All right.
Because that's what they said they were.
Oh, okay. I've probably put that arc out of my memory.
Blackleg mentioned it. The assassins that the mayor has on his payroll.
Was he referring to those people though?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Lin, whose actual name is Mao-mei, right? Shortened to Mao.
Yeah.
So his sister's name was Chow-mei and his name is Mao-mei. May, oh May. That's a lot of Mays.
I was gonna make a joke about Meow Mix,
Please don't.
but considering that's a cultural food, I figured I probably shouldn't.
Meow Mix is a cultural food. What do you mean? People eat it?
No, like if people eat cats, cultural food.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm tired. If you cannot tell,
You lost me. I didn't. Okay, we got the flashback.
right?
An extended flashback. His time, in that training facility.
And he's got his
befriends the red-haired guy.
Well, he doesn't really have a choice. They're partnered up.
Yeah, but they become
they're
friends. He did have a choice in whether he wanted to get all buddy with him before the inevitable death match between them. Come on. That's been done before.
Yeah, it's been done before, but I didn't see it coming.
Okay. I did.
It wasn't unexpected once it happened, but I didn't see it coming.
That's how logical progression and like data processing works. Of course, something isn't unexpected once it happens. You don't have to expect it at that point because it's happened. See what I'm saying?
It up.
Yeah, they have to fight each other. The guy stabs him in the back. I wasn't expecting him to stab him in the back. That took me by surprise because I thought that they would actually,
Try to escape
This
together.
show has had a bunch of scenes where a billion people are shooting guns at one guy and they're all missing. It's classic. That's just classic cinema. So I thought that he was actually going to break the lock and they were both going to escape together, and that, the red-haired guy would be his old friend who re-enters the picture somehow, which does happen, but they're going to be at odds because the guy's still alive.
Yeah.
Did
Just barely.
you see that scene?
Oh, the one at the end?
Yeah, after the credits.
No.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay, the red-haired guy's still alive.
Okay.
And he has like a cybernetic eye. Because remember Lin threw that knife at him?
Yeah.
And it sliced his eye open, or,
Yeah.
You don't exactly see what the damage is, but in the post-credit scene, red-haired guy he's some kind of assassin, and he's on the phone with somebody, probably his handler or his whoever's paying him for the job, something. And he's got like a glowing cybernetic eye, and his plan is probably he's talking about Lin on the phone.
Hunt him down
Yeah.
and kill him.
Hopefully they make it like a nice 3-episode arc out of the conflict between those two.
They just finished the show with that.
Yeah, that's what I would like.
I think they wouldn't have set up that whole thing with this episode if they weren't intending to do that.
I hope that's the case. Yeah, I would like that. You have any other thoughts about this episode? I don't have much more to say about it, I don't think.
I mean, it had like your training day montage, and then
yeah, they had to use montage. They had to use like some kind of technique in order to move
because it was
time.
5 years.
Was it? I thought it was 4.
No, they say you'll be here for the next 5 years, and then 4 years later is after the first year's already passed.
Gotcha. Okay.
I assume.
It was interesting to note that at the very beginning of the episode, where he's like, "Hey, can you get toilet paper on your way back from the batting cages?" It's like a very domestic scene between Lin and Banba. And the idea, I think that's a setup for Lin going rogue. Like, my life wasn't supposed to be like this. I'm a killer. I shouldn't be hanging out with all these people. Kind of like a Violet Evergarden thing. Do I really have the right to be happy and to make other people happy because I did some bad things?
No, I don't think it's entirely that. I think it's that he's worried about getting close to someone like he did with the guy from his training because it burned him in the past.
Actually, that makes way more sense. Yeah. Yeah. So, but either way, that can still be fuel for him to like cut contact with Banba and the other baseball players. All of his new buddies.
And then Blackleg will somehow hear about there's like a hit on him or there's a problem or something,
guy.
and then they'll come to the rescue. And
yeah, see, the ease with which we're laying out this potential plot has me concerned about how it'll be implemented in the show.
How it being laid out exactly the way that we say it's going to.
Even if that doesn't happen, I'm like worried that it won't be a 3-episode thing. They'll just go bam, 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 and just knock it out.
Which was 3, so 3 episodes.
Three bams.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, but in
There's a shark on your
this
head.
show, there have been episodes that are paced at like breakneck speeds. So there are usually like 10 bams in half of an episode.
That's true. Covered a lot of ground in a short series.
Yeah. which is all right. This show, I don't like looking at it, and I don't like the characters that much, but it's all right.
Still like it.
Yeah, I know. And that's cool. I really do want to get to spring 2018. I'm excited for that because, ranking all the shows, seeing what we end up on.
Yeah.
Have you been watching Boku no Hero at all? Have you been catching up or no?
No, but I finished the first season of
Keijo?
No, I haven't finished Keijo yet. But I finished rewatching the first season of Brotherhood.
First season? What? First 13 episodes?
Yeah, first 13.
Okay. So you have to deal with all the goofy fast forward, pacing when they're just trying to rush through everything that already happened in the original series.
Yeah, they learn what the Philosopher's Stone is by the 7th episode.
Yeah.
It's so fast.
It's so dense. Every single episode has so much stuff from the 2003 series going on.
And there's so much recap because it was week to week.
Yeah. That's cool.
Although it's nice watching it on Netflix because it skips the recap for you.
Watching it on Netflix, you own the Blu-rays.
Yeah, I know. But I don't have a Blu-ray player.
Oh.
I know. I'm the worst.
Netflix is so great. Let's talk about another anime. I watched it because it was on Netflix.
Speaking of Netflix.
We already talked about Violet Evergarden.
No,
There are 2 new anime on Netflix, though.
Yeah.
Be the Beginning and Aiko. Maybe we could do one of those someday.
Yeah.
Watch it, talk about it. I already saw the first episode of both. Be the Beginning is shit.
Damn.
Now you know.
Damn, son.
So do you want to do Darling in the Franxx or Sora Yori, Tooi Basho?
I was going to say Darling in the Franxx because I was going to make the connection. Kill la Kill is on Netflix, and this is also done by Trigger.
Oh, well, you managed to squeeze that in there anyway.
I did.
Well done.
Thank you.
Darling in the Franxx is an anime series that many people enjoy.
You are not one of them.
And I, believe it or not, this is going to blow you away. I actually think that Franxx, despite how, I don't know, every time I watch it, I just think it just reveals itself to be more and more dumb. But I'm starting to appreciate it more, like as just a piece of complete trash.
Starting to appreciate the trashness.
You know what it is? Everything else is just disappointing to me. Like Violet Evergarden is so
But this can't
boring.
disappoint you because your low hopes were so low to begin with.
That's probably what's going on. Yeah. This is what happened in this episode. A whole bunch
this was
of
about
nothing.
Ichigo and Hiro.
Wasn't it more about Goro?
Ichigo and Goro, excuse me.
Yeah. Goro was like the central character.
Yeah, it was about him and
He had the really floofy pseudo intellectual intro. You know how characters are always talking about some dumb stuff about birds with one wing or the stars.
the stars in the sky.
Are dull and dim.
Whatever they have to be over Dumble, Texas.
Do you know what I'm talking about? How almost every
There's
episode
like
opens and closes with some voiceover.
There's a voiceover with
some
like,
pretentious sounding
some stuff, and there's
sludge.
A bird can only fly if its other wing is a female, and
The
sex and
Gion shares the
penises.
wings. Yeah. The power of love.
The power. It's the power of love.
That would actually
I'd add the clip in if I could, but I don't
that
want
would
to get
actually
this
be
taken down.
that would be a great parody, like a little video we could make, just like a 20-second long video or something with a bunch of. You watch the music video for "Power of Love" by Huey Lewis and the News, and then just scour Darling in the Franxx for clips that are reminiscent of all the clips in the music video. You know, with with matching just layout.
That does not fit with Leap.
No, it doesn't.
Not at
And
all.
then set it to that music. That'd be great. We would rack up the views.
So many views.
We need views.
We could post it on Reddit.
I let it on Let It. This episode was competent.
I liked it.
It was a Goro-centric episode, and the thing that I appreciated most about this episode, I suppose, is how he comes out and says to Hiro, "I think I love Ichigo," and then he literally says to Ichigo, "I love you." That is.
He doesn't take 9 episodes to say something. He just does it because all he gets is one.
Do you remember the beach episode where at the very end, Ichigo's trying to confess her love for Hiro, or
Baka,
or something, not love, but she's like, "I always want to be by your side," or something along those lines.
She doesn't know what the word love is.
She's in the middle of saying that. Yeah, well, that's something Goro wrestles with in this episode too. But Ichigo in the beach episode is like, "I want to be by your side." And then Hiro's like, "Look, stars! There's stars in the sky."
The stars in the sky.
So it's the classic anime, interrupted confession scene. But in this episode, Goro's just like, he's a bro.
Yeah.
He's just like, "You know what? I love you."
And she's like, "I don't know what that word means."
Well, she says, "I don't know how to respond to that love thing."
Oh. I think that's possible. She just doesn't know what it means.
What was that?
That's my phone.
Okay. Looks like a
telemarketer.
Yeah.
I get calls about like, your carpet cleaning company and you've won a cruise. And no, I haven't.
And do you want to buy the Blu-ray set of Darling in the Franxx?
No. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Wow. You would want to buy the Blu-ray? Sounds like you're liking it.
Oh, I like boxes. I have a lot of Blu-rays.
Yeah.
I like having physical media.
Yeah. Well, this one's probably selling a lot. I don't really look at the sales numbers in Japan, but it's probably pretty successful.
Don't know.
It could be Darling in the Flops. We'll never know.
No. We'll never know.
It's very simple. Goro gets captured and then Ichigo, sets out to rescue him. There's not a lot of there's not a whole lot of
Well,
other
he is
stuff
going to kill
on.
himself.
Yeah, he plans on blowing the thing up.
Yeah, in order to stop it so that it doesn't kill everyone else.
Yeah. I was a little confused though, because in the end he leaves behind that little bomb inside the machine.
Right, the extra fuel tank.
Yeah. And he sets it to explode because he's like, "We got to hurry, Ichigo. We got to get out of here," after she shows up to rescue him.
Right.
So if that bomb is already inside the robot, why does he need to self-destruct?
Because he can't pilot the robot to get it out.
I know, but if the bomb is already going to blow up and completely
No,
destroy
it wasn't going to. He ejected the extra fuel tank. Because remember, they said
I thought he ejected
your Franxx have been loaded with extra fuel because of how far you have to go.
I do remember that.
So he ejected the extra fuel tank
after Ichigo had shown up to save him?
Yes.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
All right. That makes more sense. Yeah, that's true. You're right. He was going to kill himself. He was going to self-destruct. And he was going to be all stoic about it, like, "Oh, don't worry, I have a plan." When they're contacting him, when he's in like low power mode, I guess, auxiliary power mode. Another thing lifted from Eva. But it's
just missing a D in the background.
The entry.
Which I'm convinced is dial tone shifted into a lower frequency.
Oh, you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, I really like that sound in Eva. It's like, it's really, I don't know, atmospheric. It feels isolated. It feels like a lonely tone.
I really think that it's. I'll have to try it. I'll have to get a clip of dial tone and tune it down and see if it sounds the same.
Interesting. Let me know what you find out.
I will.
Yeah, this episode was solid. It was fine. It was all right.
Yep.
Are we done?
I'm trying to remember if there was anything I wanted to.
Oh, I remember. It was Christmas. Christmas for the parasites. God rest ye merry parasites.
Yep.
It's beginning to look a lot like...
It's beginning to look a lot like...
Oh, God. No. I was trying to do, like, Darling the Franxx themed Christmas puns, but instead you just made a pig noise.
I was trying to think of something before I finished. It's beginning to look a lot like, but I couldn't.
Okay. Yeah, so they all get gifts, right? Hiro gets that bird watching book because he's always talking about that fucking bird with one wing. And it's
just
like
wants to
it's
know what it
really,
is,
It's
man.
like really deep, and I really like this show because it's deep. Just like I don't know.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I remember now. They all get gifts.
Yeah.
And do you remember what the fat guy gets?
Like a fondue set?
Yeah, he gets food. And do you remember what's in his mouth when the camera pans?
Food.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's fat.
It's funny because he's always eating, guys.
You know why he's always eating?
Because he's fat.
You know why he's fat?
Because he's always eating.
That is just top tier comedy.
Next level shit. Oh, there was something I was going to say.
What?
Do you think the episode would have been better if Goro had died? If he had self-destructed?
No. And the reason I say that is because the episode was, I mean, it was kind of clear that he was going to come back. You know what I mean? Because they're like, oh yeah, the adults, the woman with the big rack and the guy with the shaved head. I don't know their names.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, no, if that thing comes near us, we're gonna have to shoot it down. And all the kids are like, what? You're so
Shoot it down.
You're so heartless. You know, we have to save our friend. And so the episode is clearly gunning for the rescue mission the whole time. It wasn't as though the plan to kill that Klaxosaur with Goro inside was so real and like so urgent. Because if it had been, if the kids had all been like terrified about losing their friend, and it doesn't seem like there's any way out of this, and a lot of time is spent inside their heads, like, what are we gonna do? If we lose Goro, what are we gonna do? If one of us dies, does that mean we're all gonna die? Then maybe if they go ahead with the rescue mission and it fails and Goro dies, then like all of a sudden all the fear that the kids have been experiencing, bam, it suddenly becomes real, and then the show can go from there. After the portentous, we're all gonna die anyways from 02. But instead, the show never got that grim or that dark. It was always pretty lighthearted, this episode. So I felt as though he was meant to be rescued. Like, if you just changed that one thing, this episode would feel all wrong, is what I'm trying to say.
I actually thought that you would say yes.
You already know that I want somebody to die.
Yeah.
But
And
in this episode, it wouldn't have worked because of how it was set up, is what I'm trying to explain.
And I think that mentality is stupid.
What? I just want somebody to hurry up and die.
This story will be better if someone dies.
You know that that's not a philosophy that I hold in general, right? I just want this show to hurry up and go somewhere. Like this particular show, which is usually boring to me. That's why I mean, in addition to me wanting that to happen specifically here, like to accelerate the plot and get me interested. 02 is also always talking about people dying and everyone's going to die. You're all just going to die. It's pointless.
We're all going to die. Nobody matters. Come watch TV.
So that's why I want it to happen in the show. I guess there's two reasons there.
Okay. I was going to go on a rant about how I think that people that constantly think, oh man, if somebody had died in this episode, it would have been so much better, how they're stupid. Because it can be a crutch for storytelling. If
Sure.
a character death, this is, people, it's creating drama for the illusion of story.
Yeah,
by killing a character.
I know what you mean. But I also think that people dying can. Well, here's a question. How did you feel in Firefly when Wash died? When he just gets that stick, he gets impaled on that whatever that thing is. That would be like a prime example of someone dying just to create higher stakes or like an emotional moment or something.
People don't kill people. Joss Whedon kills people.
On that note, let's talk about our final show of this episode.
Oh, but I didn't answer your question, though.
I don't care about the answer.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah. I mean, I asked you that question to stump you. I
have an answer. You
Okay.
didn't stump me.
Well, it's not anime related, so.
Okay, fine.
Give it to me in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Sora Yori. They made it. They're there.
We made it. Started from Japan, now we here.
Started from Japan, now we Antarctica.
Got the whole team.
Sure.
I don't know the words to that song.
It's okay. You don't need to. They made it to Antarctica. Wait, no, did they?
Cool.
There was that big iceberg.
They're not
sheet of
actually
ice.
there, but they're super close.
Yeah, because they kept ramming that big brick of ice, and they said we're gonna take a break. We're gonna the ship's gonna rest for a bit. It's got to recharge its health bar or something. So they all go down and stand on it. And I really liked the line that said, don't get more than 5 feet away. Or
5 meters.
Maybe it was meters, yeah.
Yep.
Because maybe the ice could split and they would be alone out on, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The dramatic scenes where, oh no, the thing's splitting in half.
Yeah,
now there's a
broke in
literal
half.
divide between two characters. Look at the visual storytelling, guys. So I like that they threw in that little line of dialogue. I like all the little details about the expedition, the trip. Last week you were talking about the signs. The
signs
that they have up everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like all those little details.
Then we had the love interest story.
Well, you're talking about that guy who was in love with the captain.
Yeah.
And then at the end when he realizes the captain is unattainable, he's
like, what about you?
Yeah. It's just so dumb.
But there are people like that.
Yeah. That's true. You're right. I mean, I guess instead of saying that was so dumb, like the show was so stupid, I should say
character.
Just those people. You listening to this. You're so dumb.
You listening right now are dumb.
If you've ever acted like that guy in that Japanese cartoon, then you're a dumb.
Creating drama for the illusion of story. Oh, that was cool. I am back in.
They made it to Antarctica. That's the big news.
Yeah.
And we saw, there were a bunch of flashbacks to Shirase's childhood where Gin was present.
Yeah.
She was friends with her mom,
Teaching her how to jump rope
Yeah.
so that they can win the jump rope championship and not get hot dogs.
Is that just another reference to something?
No, that was a gag from the show.
It was?
Because they entered the jump rope competition that we saw in the last episode with the flyer. And because they came in last place, rather than getting a steak dinner, they got hot dogs.
I remember that now. Yep. So that's another way of telling us that, supplies are limited. Meat. Show's always giving us slipping in those little details about the
Except for
expedition.
the episode where they literally said, you guys are getting a lot less supplies than everyone else.
Well, sure, but this is like a reminder of that.
Yeah.
While you're, putting a little gag in there, it's also a way of reminding us that times are tough for Antarctica expeditioners.
Yep, for civilian expeditionaries.
Right. Oh, those details about Japan only being able to go to a certain part of Antarctica because they lost World War II, that was really interesting to me.
I'm sure it's true because there's no way that you would make up something so easily verifiable.
That was pretty
yeah, that was interesting, and that does make sense.
The girls were like, isn't that bullying?
And they're like, well, I wouldn't put it that way, but kind of. Because it'd be very difficult for anyone in Japan to say, you know what, that was unfair treatment. The rest of the world would give you a bit of a stink eye.
No, I mean, Japan, every once in a while, some political leader in Japan will come up in the news because they invoke like some Nazi idea or tenant, or they'll bring up Hitler or some Nazi leader and be like, their heart was in the right place. I literally read something recently where some member of the Japanese Diet or some political guy said Hitler's heart was in the right place.
Oh my god.
There's some leftover sentiment bubbling underneath the surface of Japan.
Bubbling under the surface.
I don't know. That actually, I'm not qualified to talk about that at all, and it doesn't have anything to do with this anime.
No.
But
it was interesting.
But they aren't allowed to go to Antarctica.
The easy way.
Right. They have to go the hard way.
Gotta go the hard way.
Yeah.
Which makes the show more interesting.
I mean, it increases the odds against them because the odds they've been against them all the time. People doubting,
right?
Is the ship ever going to leave port? People like myself.
Are you even going to get there?
I think that actually ties into the big like what is it? What do the girls say? In your face.
Yeah.
It ties into that scene at the very end, which I really liked. That was my favorite moment. It especially works for Shirase because she's been, her classmates are always mocking her, and she's been rejected. Her application to go on these voyages has been rejected in the past. So she has a gigantic chip on her shoulder, and this is like her big moment of catharsis. She's not to Antarctica yet, but she is standing at the bottom of the earth.
Yep.
And like screaming to the world, basically, I did it.
Yeah.
In your face. I did it. But the interesting thing is that every other character kind of has someone to whom they could be yelling that. Like the main girl has Megumi, I guess. Her old friend who was spreading rumors about her.
Right.
And who didn't want her to leave for Antarctica because that means that she's like no longer dependent on her.
The idol, her mom.
Yeah. Well, her mom wanted her to go on the expedition, but her mom also wanted to control everything about her life. And so, yeah, the idol could be like saying in your face, like, I did this myself. I'm doing it my way.
But Hinata has nothing.
Well, she used to belong to that club. She was part of the track team or some team at school.
I'm assuming it was
and
track.
They all kind of froze her out. But more than that, I think she might be saying to herself,
I did something.
Yeah. Because that's her whole reason for going on this trip. Like she wants to make good use of this time.
I don't know why, but when they all started chanting that, for some reason, Rage Against the Machine has started going in my head. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Just looping.
Another great video that we could make. That one wouldn't. I mean, no one would click on that though because it's not about Darling and the Franxx or
Right.
Violet Evergarden. Do other anime even exist?
Obviously not.
No way.
Not a chance.
There's a post-credit scene in this one too. Did you also not watch that?
No, I did.
Okay.
I did watch it, and it was
The email. Bloop.
yeah,
The little notification.
where she sent the email saying I made it.
No. The email was
It said it was from Shirase.
no, it wasn't. It was from the idol's mom. And it showed up on that computer screen, on that laptop that they have like,
Right,
buckled
yeah,
down.
I saw that.
It's not from Shirase. It's from the idol's mom. So there's some news.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I read the wrong thing then. Maybe it was said to Shirase.
At least you watched the post-credit scene
that.
in this one.
I saw
Even
it.
if you
I
misinterpreted
just
it.
have no idea what it was. Apparently.
All right. Well, yeah, you have to assume if that's a post-credit scene, they're going to follow it up in some way. Unless, this show
Right, because
pulls
they
a Violet
followed up the
Evergarden.
last post credit scene.
What, the show did? What was the last one?
The
Refresh my memory.
flowers that she was walking with.
The flowers.
The head of the expedition had like that. It looked like one of those silver catering bowls, but it was see-through. It's like a platter with a
That
clear
was a
plastic
post-credit
lid.
scene in the last one? You know what? I didn't see that. I saw what you're talking about, that cake.
Yeah, that was in this episode, right?
Yeah.
It was at the end of last episode.
Okay.
And I don't
Wow, I
think
missed
it's
that one.
don't think it's a cake. I think it's like it's going to be a memorial for her mom. And the reason it's flowers encased in plastic is so that it can survive.
Oh, I see. So it's not a cake. It's actually flowers. I got you. Although it just went right over my head because I didn't see that. You gotta watch them post-credit scenes. To all you anime lovers out there and all you lovers of geek and nerd culture, make sure
Go to thankgeek.com and use promo code Anime Podcast for 20% off your next order.
Loot Crate.
Don't forget to use our special code on Crunchyroll.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Or just subscribe. That's fine too.
Don't do that either.
We don't want any pressure to actually put together a competent product.
Every time someone subscribes, I
What, myself?
with happiness. This was a pretty good episode. Let's rank the shows.
Cool. I got them right here in my right hand.
That's what she said.
What?
I don't know.
Coming in at number 5, Kokkoku.
I put Violet Evergarden.
Okay, I put Evergarden 4th.
Okay, I put Ramens 4th.
I put Franxx 3rd.
I put Kokkoku 3rd.
Oh, baby. I put Sora Yori 2nd.
I put Franxx 2nd.
Okay, and I put Ramens 1st.
All right, Sora-yori. So Sora-yori continues by virtue of its competence. Sora-yori, I think, continues to be our favorite show collectively.
Yes.
Keeps coming in, first, second, all the time.
Yeah.
Although I think it did have an off week, maybe 2 weeks ago, episode 7. I want to say
the last one where they were in the port.
the one where they lost the passport was my least favorite, I think.
Yeah.
But it's it just keeps on trucking. It's a nice little show. It knows what it wants to do, even if it took them way too long to get to Antarctica. The journey there has been, pretty fun. And we continue to feel completely differently about
Everything else.
Well, no, we're mostly lining up. I just think I guess Kokkoku and Ramens we feel completely opposite about.
Yeah.
I'm bored of Kokkoku now at this point too.
I've got Kokkoku
it's really
dead
just
last.
it's really just Ramens that I think is the big difference
Yeah.
separating us. The gulf between us.
The divide.
Just like it's as though we were standing more than 5 feet away from the ship, 5 meters from the ship, and an iceberg. It just broke down the middle, and I just went floating off into the Antarctic Sea, never to be seen or heard from again.
What a joyous day.
For everyone listening to this, maybe.
Exactly.
All right. So next time we're going to be back, episode 10.
This is a short one for us.
Yeah, that's good. I think they should be more this length. Less time,
I guess. I don't know. It all depends on how much we have to say about each episode. And I think both of us are bored with a couple of the shows we're watching.
Yeah, maybe different shows, but
So there's just less to talk about at this point.
the luster has left for a lot of these series for me. But spring is just around the corner. So look forward to that, everybody. We'll see you then.